Alright, it's time for another issue of About Games, where I look at various topics related to gaming that I, and probably nobody else, find interesting. I think we're past due for some game industry bullshit, don't you? When asked whether the chosen endings, i.e. blue, green or red, yes, that's the one and only difference there was, in Mass Effect 3 would impact the future game Mass Effect Andromeda, the developers responded that no, it wouldn't. Their motivation for this was supposedly a desire to give the game its own story and not require you to understand the first 3 games in that universe in order to play it. This is both bullshit and not bullshit. Let's cut to the chase. The ending to Mass Effect 3 was really terrible. It wasn't good in any way. It made no sense, neither gameplay-wise nor in terms of the story that had been told up to that point. It was a grade A top-shelf bullshit. And BioWare know this. Having been a huge fan of gaming for most of my life, I've long since abandoned any illusions about artistic integrity or whatever. They didn't disregard the endings from Mass Effect 3 because they thought that the best way to tell a story was doing it. They did it because of what an unpopular clusterfuck those endings were. They are, in essence, running in fear from that pile of excrement because they know that it would hurt their game to associate it with one of the biggest screw-ups they've ever made. But I still think it's a good thing. Yes, I do, and shut up. I told you this is my blood, not your... you sniveling... Anyway, where was I? Oh, right. Some people have actually expressed annoyance at this, saying that, oh, so much for choosing an ending, upset that the ending they chose didn't matter in the long run. I like that they are cutting their losses. The worst thing they could do is stick with a bad thing and somehow try to redeem it, bringing their next game down with it. I agree with them. I, like them, just want to pretend like the ending to Mass Effect never happened. We've learned the lesson, which in this case is do not make game endings that make me want to punch the developer squarely in the dick. So now, let's all close our eyes and pretend that this is a world where that ending never happened. To take a slightly more serious stab at it, I just feel like it's a good thing whenever a developer can let go of something that is, for all intents and purposes, finished. A whole lot of people have been angry for years at George Lucas for what he did to Star Wars, always going back and adding lines, fiddling with effects, never being able to go, alright, this thing is done, let's make something else. Make no mistake, I want more Mass Effect. I want more of that kind of gameplay, that kind of shooting and role-playing. I want more of that kind of writing for the characters. I want more of those kind of character interactions. And I'm not just talking about the sex scenes. All that stuff was brilliant throughout the Mass Effect series. I just don't want a continuation of that story because it's over now. I suppose one could argue that there is a bit of a sequel hook in there with the whole taking a breath thing, but there's really nowhere left to take that particular story. From start to finish, it was about Shepard and his crew's struggle to defeat the Reapers, and once that was done, where do you go from there? As much as I'm all for wanking off Commander Shepard, the most awesome man in the whole universe, FYI, I'm not all for dicking around with things after they're done. So, I say, give us more Mass Effect, because I'm a sucker for more of what I already have, only with a new story. And since that seems to be what BioWare are going for with this next installment, I'm a happy camper. Good night.